BPM praise, worship songs, inspirational Bible verses, food for souls, streamer. Like, share, subscribe.
God's love verse. Romans 5-8 is a powerful verse from the New Testament of the Bible that speaks about God's love and the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Here's a breakdown of its significance and context. The verse NIV translation. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Key themes in Romans 5-8. God's demonstrated love. The verse emphasizes that God's love is not just a concept or abstract idea, but something that was clearly demonstrated. The word demonstrates signifies that God's love is active and has been visibly shown through the actions of Jesus Christ. Unconditional love. God's love is unconditional and not dependent on our actions or worthiness. The verse explicitly states that, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us, highlighting that Jesus' sacrifice was made for people who are undeserving and separated from God due to sin. Christ's sacrifice. The death of Jesus on the cross is the central act of God's love for humanity. It was a selfless act of grace, made for people who are living in sin and rebellion against God. This shows the depth of God's mercy and the extent of the sacrifice made by Jesus for the redemption of humanity. While we were sinners. The verse points out that Jesus did not wait for people to clean up their lives or repent before He died for them. He died for humanity when they were still in their sinful state, which demonstrates the immense grace and mercy of God. Reconciliation with God. This act of Christ's sacrifice is foundational to the Christian doctrine of salvation and reconciliation. Through Jesus' death, believers can be reconciled with God, overcoming the separation caused by sin. Context of Romans 5-8. Romans 5-8 stands out as the pinnacle of God's love, showing that He took the first step in reconciling humanity to Himself through the death of Christ. Theological significance. Grace and mercy. Romans 5-8 underscores the concept of grace unmerited favor. Despite humanity's sinful nature, God acted in love and grace by sending Jesus to die for their sins. Justification by faith. This verse supports the idea that salvation and reconciliation with God are not based on human effort or merit, but on God's love and grace. This is in line with the overall theme of the book of Romans, where Paul emphasizes justification by faith. Sacrifice and atonement. The sacrificial death of Jesus on the cross is a central theme in Christian theology. It provides atonement for sins, allowing believers to have peace with God. Reflection and application. Unconditional love. Romans 5-8 reminds us that God's love is not based on our goodness, but on His character. This can be a source of comfort and hope for those who feel unworthy or distant from God. Call to action. Since Christ died for sinners, Christians are called to love others in a similar way, showing grace and mercy rather than judgment. The sacrificial love of Christ sets the standard for Christian conduct. Conclusion. Romans 5-8 is a profound reminder of the depths of God's love for humanity. It teaches that Christ's death was an act of love and grace, offered freely to sinners. This verse encourages Christians to reflect on the greatness of God's love and to respond with gratitude and faith. It reinforces the central message of the gospel, that through Jesus Christ, believers are reconciled to God, not because of their own righteousness, because of His sacrificial love. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and like for more.